Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card, which is called an angled trifold card. I've seen two videos recently, one by Marianne Curtis and the other one by Lorraine Tierney, I believe it was. But I believe the original idea is actually from Lisa Griffin Swollenack, as far as I can make out. But whatever, it's a beautiful card and I'm going to show you how to make it. This one I have sealed by making a belly band for it. That just slides off and it opens up with the birthday greetings and decoration inside. Okay. And I've done the back as well. And on this, it's also some of this paper, but I painted this, and those two are actually die cut from it as well. Okay, now I really love this card. Let's make sure, because I've put little gems on here, I have to be careful which way I close this. Okay, so that closes that way, and I've also made this one, and this one I've closed by tucking it under the flower. This paper is from Playmates, which is a celebration item. Celebration ends on 30th September, so if you want to get a packet this free, you need to place a qualifying order by then. But this, it just untucks like that and opens. As you can see, I haven't decorated on the inside. I did that for a purpose because I think it looks really nice when it's decorated inside. I think that helps to finish it off, and once you've done that, or at least once I'd done that, to me this looked unfinished. But I thought I'd leave it like this so that I could show you, so that you can see both ways and you can decide for yourself which way you like best. Okay, so it just tucks closed like that. I did the back on this one as well. I will go back and do the insides of that now that I've been able to show you. And this paper, also from Celebration, and is called Beautifully Penned. So you can get that as a gift if you place a qualifying order by 30th of September. Okay, so the cardstock that I'm going to be using, I'm going to be giving you measurements for A4 cardstock users in inches. In the box below I will give these inches. I'll also give you the metric for this, and I will do the inches for letter size cardstock users as well. But for the video, these are all A4 inches. So this one is 11 5/8 inches by 5 3/4 inches. I don't know if I'm going to do a belly band, but I have a strip that's 1 inch wide of nice navy. I don't need as much as that, but I didn't measure the red one, so I started off with the 12 inches. If you want to do the inside of your card, now I've already done my 4 pieces, so I'm going to use these 2 pieces to demonstrate to you. And you'd need either 2 or 4 pieces, and these measure 3 5/8 inches by 5 5/8 inches. You'll also need 1 piece of Designer Series paper if you want to do the back, or a piece of basic white if you want to do the back. This is another idea I have. On my card, I'm going to do the back but decorate it rather than have DSP, largely because I've run out of the design that I've used for the edges, so I've had to think of something else. I could either do it as an embossed sheet or to decorate it like the front, and I've decided on the latter with that. So you need 1 of DSP and 1 as basic white, or if you want to do like me, 2 pieces of DSP, 2 pieces of basic white, and these measure 5 5/8 inches by 4 inches. You will also need 2 strips which are 1/8 of an inch wide, and I have those here. A4 cardstock users, I've got a nice easy way for you to get those 2 strips. The biggest challenge for this card is to cut these pieces of Designer Series paper It's easy enough to cut the cardstock, but to cut these the same size so they fit in, it's a bit of a challenge. But I have worked out a cheats way of how to get these nice and straight. So first of all, let me show you how to get this 1/8 of an inch. Now you need an A4 sheet to start off with. Now if you make your cards normally at 5 3/4 inches, even after trimming a bit off of here, you will still have enough to get 2 cards on here. So that was, I said 11 5/8, okay, so that's lined up there. Oh, I'm not in the camera, let's come back down again. There we go. Right, okay, so I'm going to line that up at 11 5/8, which is there, and I'm going to cut this, and it cuts you a perfect slice. Okay, unfortunately you need 2 pieces, which is why I've cut an extra piece off, but I cut mine at 5 3/4, so I've still got enough left on that. No, you come back, I need you. You're the one I don't need. Okay, first of all we're going to do the card base, and I need to get this piece out. So the first part I am going to score at 3 3/4 inches. Move your cardstock along and line up at 7 7/8. And score again. Before we start cutting on that, I'm going to fold and make sure my edges are nicely burnished. And what did I do with my bone folder? Here it is. Okay, so just make sure they're both lining up straight. Now where I've cut the thin strip off, that's come up very raised, but that's going to be cut off, so I'm not bothered about smoothing that down. And then I'm going to fold this one in as well, give that a good burnish, and then we are ready to cut. The first card I made, or at least my prototype, I actually did my Designer Series paper on the top perfectly. But ever since, they've not gone perfect. And the 2 ladies, at least one of the ladies I saw, I can't remember, the second one struggled as well, but one of them certainly did. But she had her way of getting around it as well. So what we're going to do is we are going to cut from where that score line is down to over here. Now you want your cut to go right to the edge of that score line. You want it to be a perfect point. So line that bit up in the cutting track, and this on the 1.5 mark. Now the 1.5 mark on here comes, in fact let me move this down just a little bit, it comes almost at the edge here, but there is a slight gap, and I do make mine come to that little edge there, so there is the most tiniest of gaps. Now I like where my score line is going into the cutting track there, so I am going to go for this. Yes, that went up beautifully, so that will be rubbish to me. And now we want this one to come in. So what we're going to do is we're going to line that point up into the cutting track, and this we're going to line up to the 1 inch mark. Okay, so I use that line there to line that one up, and then I bring this one round, so that point really is right into the cutting track. And when I'm happy that I've done that, hold it really nice and firm. Yes, that's cut in a perfect point as well. And now we're going to do this side, This time we want to come down this way. So again, we're going to put our score line right into the cutting track, and this we are bringing down to the 1.5 mark. Okay, so mine is coming up to and just about touching. In fact, I'm going to have to bring this down a bit lower. What you don't want is, as you're putting your card up here, you don't want this to click down on, can't see that, you don't want your bar here to click down on this, because it will make a mark. I was lucky it didn't go right the way down there. So let's try that again. You can see the point, you can see the cutting track, and this point needs to go up to a 1 inch mark, which is that line there. So if I bring this down here, yes, you can see that. So just put my finger on that. No, it's 1.5 mark to start off with. I'm doing the first cut, aren't I? I distracted myself by explaining about not getting it cardstock up there. Right, okay, let's go again for this. 1.5, that's that line there. And my score line right in the middle of that cutting track. That's good. Just move that down very slightly. Yes. So I am happy with that. I'm going to bring this down, hold my cardstock this side, and then slice. Oh yes, that's gone right up to the score line. And now I'm going to do from here down to here. So where's my 1 inch mark? That's that one there. So I'm going to pop that there, and then move that point right into the middle of the cutting track. That's it. Move that very slightly towards my 1 inch mark. That's it. And I'm going to hold that one tight, close this. I prefer to cut down this end rather than going straight onto a point. Was that perfect? I think that one was just a little bit short, wasn't it? Yes, that was a tad short. Don't know whether you can see it or not, but that little bit, you can see that it's not quite straight. But never mind, we will deal with it. So that's those 2 pieces. Now you need these 4 pieces. Now again, I'm going to cut just the 2, one for the front, one for the back, and we're going to do exactly the same, except instead of score lines, we've got actual corners here. So the first one, I'm going to line up against that 1.5 inch mark there, and I'm swiveling the point around to the centre of the cutting track. Move that a bit more. Trouble is, I hold on to this so tight, I find it difficult to actually move it. Yes, bring that down to cut. That was a tad short as well. So now we need to cut from there down to this side. So again, put the point in your cut line and bring this round to the 1 inch line, which is that line there. And put that right in the centre. Bring this down from this end. Yep, that looked okay. So that was one. And now we're going to do it the other side, and then down that way. So point into the centre of the tracking line, and this down to the 1.5 mark, which is that one there. Oh, bring that down. Let's bring that side round a bit, it's a bit high. Lost that. Yes, 1.5 this one. There we go, that looks perfect. Yes, that was. And now we've got to do from here down to that side. So again, point into the middle of the cutting track and then over to the 1 inch line, which is that one there and that there. Oops, it is so easy to knock this out of place. Bring that back. That was a little bit short as well. So I think that's all I need to do with the cutting. Okay, so this is the Designer Series paper I'm using for here. But as I say, I've run out. I don't have another piece to do the back. But no worries on that. So first of all, I'm going to adhere my pieces on the front of my card. So that's that there. So when you put these on here, you want to try and get that, that and that to be even. That doesn't look too bad actually. Okay, it's not like it's out a million miles. So that one's going to be going on there. I'm using Tombow, you can use whatever adhesive you prefer. One of the things I had to do after I'd watched the ladies' videos was I had to convert the inches over to A4 cardstock because both the ladies were from the US or maybe in Canada actually. Right, so I've got this. Okay, so now I'm concentrating on that, that and that. Okay, now that is a bit that's crooked. Can you see that? But no worries, we can fix that. So that's going to be the next one. It's going up there. When I first started this and it wasn't lining up properly, I thought, all I need to do is just slice off a bit down this side. But I tried it and it didn't work. It has worked previously when I've done other cards where you've needed, shall we say, triangles. But I assume that for whatever reason it doesn't work on a, is this what they call a, it's not a parallelogram, is it? I can't think what they call this kind of four-sided shape. There we go. Okay, that's all okay. In fact, that one is almost spot on. Look at that. But we will make it spot on. So the next one is this one over here. Just have a look at it before I start, so that I know what I'm aiming at. Okay. I don't know what happened to my other sheet of Designer Series paper like this. There should have been two, there probably was two, but I really don't know what I've done with it because I certainly haven't, or at least I don't recall using it. I think maybe I'll have to go back through the cards I have done recently. I'll probably find that I have used it for something else. But it gives me the opportunity of trying something different. So. And then the last one, I always check these before I adhere them, just in case there's anything gone drastically wrong with the cutting. I will try and sort out the links for the two ladies whose videos I saw. Alright, let's get this one down. Okay, so these on the edges is not too bad, and I don't worry about trying to straighten those two out. But then I put this here, and any difference there is not really very noticeable. Plus the fact by the time you've done something on here, it distracts the eye, I think. Oh, I'm not sure what that was. Okay, so that's the inside. So what I do here to make these even is I take these strips and I adhere it like that. Okay, down this end it's all on my cardstock, up that end it's all on Designer Series paper, but it makes it look even. Okay, so simple. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim this sort of the size I want. I'll leave it a little bit bigger. Okay, so that's a bit bigger there, a little bit over here. Now what I do is, as you know, if I put too much glue on something, I blot the piece of cardstock, and that's what I do with this, because you need to have glue all over it. Let's see if there's a better side. I don't think so. I can't see one side where it's got the bits sticking. Oh, you want to lay that way, dear? I can't see one side that's the bits are sticking up better than the other side. Okay, so you do need glue all over this. On my two cards, I did find that the edge of my card was a bit sticky, but I just gently went over the edges with my adhesive remover. Okay, it's well worth taking your time, making sure you got glue all over this. Okay, just lay it down very quickly. Don't leave it, it'll stick. So I would take another piece so that I can adhere this on now. I'm just going up to the score line. And then I'll cut that off. I'll do it from the back. I did think about doing this on the inside as well, but I'm not sure it would work because it would just keep pushing this bit up, I think. Anyway, as I say, I think once somebody's opened this up and they're looking at whatever's on there, I don't think they'll notice. Okay, so once that's down, just make sure that it is really down. Yeah, I can feel a bit glue there somewhere. But yeah, that's okay. I can get rid of that. So I'm going to do this side as well. I'm going to cut this a bit short. Save that. Don't think there's a good side or a bad side on this. So let's try again. I know there is a method where you can use a sponge and put a blob of Tombow down here and then use the sponge to go over this, but that only works as long as you don't allow your piece that you are actually gluing to bounce up and down. If it bounces up and down, it can bounce down onto where you have had glue and therefore make the other side sticky. There we go. Let me show you that. I've just stuck it down like that and quickly pull it up again. Just move that one out of the way. And then this one, this, in fact, that looks as if it's come right over to the edge there. I hope I can cover this up. Oh yes, look at that. Now I have just slid that to the edge there. If you turn it sideways, yes, you can see it, but it's not enough to cause me anything to worry about. There's that one. And then this end. There we go. Okay, so that is the card made. So now the fun starts, and that is how to decorate it. The stamps that I'm using, I have used to prepare this, is Snow Wonder, and I've done this. I've got several of these. In fact, all the bits that from here, apart from a snowman that I did earlier, I found in a little bag that I've got in there, which is where I keep all my bits that I've prepared ahead of time but didn't use them. I've got a wreath. I'm not sure if I'm going to be using that. These are the dies that go with the Snow Wonder. So that's a snowman that I've used, and they were the trees, and that's the wreath. Okay, so that one actually is impressions, like a embossing die, if you like. So that's those two. And this one, Merriest Moments, I am using Season's Greetings for my sentiment. Right, so it doesn't really matter which way you have your flap, whether it goes that way or that way. it does look much nicer with that inside, doesn't it? Much nicer. But I've got the white to go on the back. Let me do that because I'm going to decorate it. If I find that the other sheet of this, because I really do think I should have two, if I find that I've put it back in the wrong place, I might come back and cover this up. Unless, of course, I've done the decorating first. There we go. Right, so the bits I've got are these, and the snowman I've done with a Night of Navy hat and the fresh freesia. What I thought was, if I could put some trees in the background, then I could put him like that, and then that I could put some trees that size. No, it'd be better if I did it the other way around, wouldn't it? The reason being, put the trees there, then I've got the tall one coming through. In fact, I could go over the top, couldn't I? Don't have to stop there. Let me see what this looks like. These have been stamped with Old Olive, and I've gone over them with my Wink of Stella pen. And then I'm thinking, going to prepare this ahead of time, Season's Greetings, and thinking that I could have it across there. I think that's too many trees. On here I'm going to be using dimensionals to pop this up. Or should I just cut that down to one tree on that side? One tree there. I don't know. Let's do the sentiment first. Now this piece of cardstock was something that I'd cut off of a sheet of cardstock, and it is 9/16 of an inch wide. I've also bought another piece over with me in my scraps somewhere. Oh, here. And this is actually 5/8 of an inch wide. So I'm going to stamp on this one because I think 5/8 will probably look better. So I have my stamp here and my ink, which is fresh freesia. So let's see if I can do this. If I mess this up, then at least I've got the more narrow one I could use. I'm going to bring this right the way down. I don't want to bend my head in front of you. That's straight, except it's got a bit messy there. Why did I do that? It must have been on there, mustn't it? Okay, let's see if we can try that again. But first of all, that's got a side that's sticking up where the trimmer has cut it. So let's try that again, see if I can avoid doing that. Can't see that there's any ink anywhere. I'll bring it down now. That's better. Now I'm planning on putting that right on, so I'm not going to be able to see through it. So that was that bit. In fact, I'm going to need another snowman, aren't I? So I might as well do one with you. Let's get that sorted quickly. So I have my Stamparatus, and what did I do with my stamp set? Because I like to lean on that. Let's use this one. That's got glue on it as well, so move that out of the way. Right, you can see that. Okay, so I'm going to use Memento ink. Now I have a new toy I'm going to show you, but I haven't fully tested it yet. I know it works, but I don't know whether it causes any damage or anything. So before I recommend it, you will see me use it, but before I recommend it, I'd like to test it a bit more thoroughly. I think I will need that piece too. Yep. In fact, that will come down a little bit, won't it? I have seen a lot of people using something where they use it to smooth over the top of their Stamparatus, and I thought, what a great idea. So hubby went online to try and find me one. That's too low. And he couldn't, or at least he couldn't without buying from the States, and obviously we have to take into account the duty when we're considering the price. So he came up with this idea, and I forgot to use it, so I'm going to do another one. Okay, so just ink up very gently, and then I use my blackboard eraser. Okay, so I put that down and I just go over like that. Beautiful. Isn't that lovely? If I think, that could be a bit darker, I could bring it back again, and I don't, so I'm not going to press too hard on it. Okay. So I can't imagine what could go wrong, except if this is too rough, if it scratches the surface here. So I'm going to mark this plate and continually use it for my stamps, and I will let you know after a period of time whether it does actually scratch here or not. Because I don't want to recommend something to you, and this only costs like about £4 or something. It was certainly cheap enough. So as I've done this, I'm going to colour it, and I'm going to use dark Fresh Freesia, dark, oh no, that was light Night of Navy, dark Pumpkin Pie, oh yes, the Old Olive for the holly leaves, and dark Real Red for the berries. Okay, I'm only going to do one of these and I'll die cut it. Okay, fortunately there's not too much that needs colouring here. And little areas like that, I do prefer to use the tip end rather than the brush end. Okay, now the pumpkin pie for the nose. And I just sort of tickle. When it's something so narrow, I just use the pen nib end, the pen end rather, to almost like tickle it, if you like. Now for the hat, I'm quite happy to use the brush. And I try to go over all of the black outline. There we go, that's that. And then the dark fresh freesia for his scarf. And I'll show you what I do about the tassels down here as well. So again, go up to the edge of the black line. As you can see, I'm not doing any kind of shading because there is so much shading on this stamp anyway. We always seem to get really nice lilac-y purple colours from Stampin' Up. For the in colours, for the ones that have just retired, we had the purple posy, which is really lovely. So I'm just going over again to make it a little bit darker. I mean, if you want to take a lot more trouble over that, then, you know, please do. Right, now what I do is, again, I use the pen end and I just draw down the lines where there's the black. As you can see, I do go over the edge and I don't worry about that. Otherwise, I think it would be impossible to try and put some colour on here. Okay, I'll bring that up and show you. Okay, so you can see where I've left the gaps in the white there. And apart from that, that's all I do, apart from go over all of the body with Wink of Stella. Don't know if you can see that. Yes, you see that on his scarf, can't you? Okay, so, and these I just stamped in Old Olive. I didn't give that any outline or anything. So I'm just going to cut this. I had my scissors here a moment ago. Oh, buried them. Let me bring my big shot up. I often get asked why I use my embossing at my big shot rather than my cut and emboss, and it is because we have been advised not to use the magnetic platform in the cut and emboss, and the reason is because it hasn't been tested to see whether it's safe to use or not, and if you do use it and you get a problem with your cut and emboss machine, your guarantee will be null and void. So I can't work without a magnetic plate. When Stampin' Up bring out a suitable magnetic platform, I'll be the first one buying it. Because the cut and emboss is absolutely brilliant for cutting these images. Do you know, this doesn't look as if it's going to work. I don't know why, it looks as if that snowman isn't the right size. Now let's have a look. Oh, that's okay. Got the same white all the way around. Really didn't think that that was going to work. So that's the one for the back. Let's move this. The only thing I've really got to think about now is if I'm going to use the belly band, how? So first of all, I'm going to adhere one of these on here. Let's do the one that I've already got the Wink of Stella on, because I can come back for that. So if I do that and this, yep, I think that'll be nice. And I'm going to do this with, oh no, I'm not doing dimensionals, am I? Because if I put a belly band on it, that wouldn't work. Okay, so let's use Tombow. And what happens if I don't do belly band. Well, it's stuck, so that is it. Now that looks as if I've got too much glue on that. So let me just blot that. Okay, put that like that, see where I'm going. Let's move that out of the way. Oh, are you the right one? Yes. So let's put him on with Tombow. What I would do is I will show you anyway how I would do the belly band. There we go. And my sentiment, I'm just going to put it across there. So I really need a very sharp pencil to put pencil marks on here. Any pencil at the moment would do. There we go, there's one. I should have a pencil sharpener here, which I do. Let me just make sure this is nice and pointed. What I want is so that I can cut this at an angle down there and across there. In fact, I think that might be a bit too wide for that. Let's try the narrower one. Yes, fractionally better, I think. I should have put Father Christmas bit, a snowman a bit higher. If I do it at an angle here, angle there. Hopefully my trimmer will help me out. Oh, I'm burying it with all my bits over here. So that one is straight there. Say those two. And this one is at an angle. Let's see if that's right or whether I've got to start again with it. Cut it off a bit short. Does that matter? Shall I put it up a bit with a gap? No, I'm going to put it low. Okay, let's try that one then. Another quick blot. Yes, I think that's okay, isn't it? Fits right in the corner there. Oops, what have I just knocked on the floor? Oh, just a scrap, that's okay. Now, do I want to have just one tree here? I don't think so actually, or maybe two trees there. One tree. Don't know, the jury's out on that. Let's do the belly band. So what I do is I line this up so it's about halfway, and then on one, fold it over, don't crease it too much, and then fold that one over as well. And then I bring my trimmer back over again so that I can emboss it properly. As you know, always saying folds are much better if you score them rather than just fold them. But the thing is, with when you're making a belly band, your measurements may be different from mine because you may put more embellishments on. So to describe it this way, it's a lot better. So fold that, and then I am going to cut. Oh, it doesn't really matter whether this is straight because I'd be covering it up. Okay, so I cut that about halfway, and then cut that about half an inch further along. So the overall piece is, oh my goodness, look at that, almost spot on 9 inches. So there we go. So what I'm thinking is, as that comes over like that, could I use a circle with some more trees on it? Or just seal it up with more trees? Or use Father Christmas, what do I keep calling him, Father Christmas? A snowman to cover that one up. That would look quite clever, wouldn't it? If it's not closing that up. Try it the other way around. Oh, that's more like it. In fact, I haven't folded that very straight. I'm going to have to redo that bit. What do you think? I think that would be alright, don't you? Or would you prefer the trees? I think I prefer this. I'll have to go back and do another one for the back, but that's alright. And then inside to decorate here, I'm going to put trees. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I am going to do a belly band. I'll do my trees on the inside. Obviously plenty of room inside the card to write your greeting, to stamp other sentiments if you wanted to. Move that. Okay. If you put anything up the top here, don't forget that it'll be shown from up here. I did think about having like a Father Christmas or something, having it popping over like that. So there's an idea for you. Right, so why wasn't this working very well? Let's looks alright. Oh, that lines up much better, look at that. Okay, so rather than run the risk of having Tombow running over in the wrong places, this is my tear and tape. So I want the long one coming over the top, so the one underneath I'm putting a small piece of tear and tape. And then this one on the underneath. And obviously this, you can use this method for a belly band for any of your cards. This is also ideal for using a magnet to be fitted underneath there, but I always say that if you use magnets, the card isn't suitable for a child. Right, now when you've got your strips on there, don't adhere it together until you've got it over your card, so you know you're not pulling the sides really tight. Right, that is fitting quite loosely there. Yes, that's working. So what I need now, obviously this is only going to be right if the band is in the correct position. Now if I put it up, then that's going to be loose. So no, I'm going to keep it down. That's much better, yes. Okay, so what I'll do with this, shall I? I'm going to use dimensionals. At least get a little bit of something popped up. Oh, it's got that on the back, hasn't it? Right, very quickly I'm going to get... Can I? Yes, I will do. I don't like where you can see the back, which you will do when the belly band comes off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to die cut a plain white one, and then I'm going to adhere it on the back, just to cover that up. And it's not a bad idea actually, because it will help to make the snowman thicker, and therefore his arms, for example, are less likely to get scrunched up. Okay, so I'm going to put him on there so that you can't see the back. So I have that in case I need to blot it. That so I don't get the glue all over the place. And Tombow. Don't forget, celebration ends on 30th of September. So if you want these Designer Series paper sets, you have about 10 or 11 days, is it? I'm not sure what the date today is. Must be about the 11th, I think. No, not the 11th, about the 15th, 19th. Do you know, I haven't got a clue what the date is. In fact, the date is today, the 18th. Okay, so that's covered that all up. And then it's made it thicker to be sitting on there. In fact, I'm going to glue that down. And I'm just following the outline of what I can see of this snowman underneath there. It does mean that there is only one position for this belly band to be correct, but I'm quite happy with that, because that's going to be another surprise for the recipient. They're not going to expect there to be a snowman under there. So they move that off and, oh, okay. Yes, I am pleased with that, but I've now got to do another one for that and clear off that glue as well. And I'm not going to make you sit and watch me to do that again. You've seen it once, and I'm sure you don't want to sit through it again. So that was two different ways of adhering this down. There's that way to tuck it under, and of course the belly band. And also to remind you what it looks like if you don't decorate the inside, and what it does if you do, and what it looks like if you don't have enough Designer Series paper to finish that off, and what it looks like if it does. Okay, So plenty of options there, and I hope you'd like that little trick about getting that bit down there. When it opens up inside, it's hardly noticeable whether that's straight or not. I mean, I can see that this one's a bit wider, but with that, and people will go straight to the sentiment, so they won't be looking at that. So many thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project, and I really hope you give it a try. As I say, the measurements for A4 cardstock users, that's in inches and in metric, will be in the box below, and also the inches for letter size cardstock users will be in the box below, which I will label US, because when I put NA for North America, I was confusing some people because it looks as if it's not applicable, so I've gone back to US. Not that I'm ignoring Canada. I will also list in the box below all the ingredients I've used for this card, the scoring lines and everything like that. It will be in the box below, and you should be able to copy and paste. I would also put it underneath my blog the same day that this goes live, which will be the 19th of September 2021, and it's easier to do a copy and paste from my blog than it is underneath the video. Underneath the video it just comes out as one block. On my blog it comes out as individual lines. Okay, so there you go. If you've enjoyed my video and would like to be notified each time I upload a new one, please click on the subscribe button down there in the bottom right hand corner, and then click the bell so you get notification when I have launched. And also, if you decide to shop with me, first of all, thank you very much for your business. I really do appreciate it. But also, please remember to quote the hostess code for September. And that way, when I send you Happy Mail at the beginning of October, which is a handmade thank you card, unused, with an envelope, so it's ready for you to use, as well as a handmade thank you gift from me, I can also send you some free product if you've used that code. Okay, so my Happy Mail really is Happy Mail. Also, if you don't have a Stampin' Up demonstrator already and you shop with me, if you want catalogues, please let me know, because I am happy to send them out to you. Many thanks for joining me today. Look forward to seeing you next week. In the meantime, please take care, stay safe, and happy crafting. Cheerio.